Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you are a diploma student looking to build a rock-solid foundation in marketing, you are in exactly the right place. Think of this session as your ultimate strategic playbook. Because whether you're dreaming of launching the next huge tech startup or you're gearing up to manage global brands, you've got to understand how products live, breathe, and survive out there in the real world. So today, we're going to master the market lifecycle. Let's just dive right in. Here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start off by defining the market offering, then move on to classifying durability and tangibility. After that, we'll map out the actual product lifecycle, dig into introduction stage launch strategies, and finally, we'll wrap up with a knowledge check and a summary. Section 1. Defining offerings. What exactly is a product?
Okay, so this might seem like a painfully simple question, but we really need to rethink what it actually means to sell something. A product is far more than just a physical object you pull off a store shelf. By definition, it's literally anything offered to a market for attention, acquisition, use, or consumption that satisfies a want or a need. So yes, a Toyota Camry is a product. A Cafe Mocha at Starbucks? Definitely a product. But you have to broaden your thinking here. A weekend trip to Las Vegas is a product. Your personal Instagram account is a product. Even the advice you get from your family doctor is considered a product in the marketing world. It encompasses services, events, people, places, organizations, and even ideas.
Section 2. Classifying products based on durability and tangibility.
Now that we've blown the definition of a product wide open, we need a reliable way to organize all these diverse offerings. We do this by looking at physical attributes and lifespans. Let's start with tangibility. On one side, we have tangible products. These are the physical items that you can actually touch, see, and measure before you even buy them. Think smartphones, clothing, or, a dining room table. On the flip side, we've got intangible products. You can't touch these or physically measure them because they're based almost entirely on experiences or services. Think of a life insurance policy or financial consulting or a cloud-based software subscription. You can't hold a software subscription in your hand, but you absolutely experience its value. Next up, we classify based on durability, which is really just a fancy way of saying, how long does this thing actually last? Durable goods are meant to go the distance. They're used over an extended period, and because they last, they usually require a much bigger investment from the buyer. We're talking refrigerators, cars, laptops. Non-durable goods, on the other hand, are consumed or used up pretty quickly. They have a really short lifespan, so you find yourself buying them over and over again. Bread, milk, shampoo, paper towels, they all fit right here. And finally, we have services. These are completely intangible, and they're consumed exactly at the point of delivery. You can't own or store a doctor's visit, a live concert, or a tutoring session. You simply experience it in the moment.
All right, let's pause the theory for just a second. I want you to put on your marketing manager hat. Based on what we just covered regarding tangibility and durability, how would you classify a typical fast food meal? Take a quick mental guess.
Well, if you guessed a non-durable tangible good, you are absolutely right. It is tangible because, clearly, you can see, touch, and physically hold that burger and fries. But it's non-durable because it's consumed very quickly, sometimes a little too quickly, right? Understanding this is vital because it tells a marketer that this product relies entirely on frequent repeat purchases rather than a single high-investment decision.
Moving on to Section 3, the product lifecycle.
So we know what a product is, but what kind of environment does it actually have to survive in? This classic bell curve brilliantly illustrates the journey almost every product takes, right from its initial inception to its eventual withdrawal from the market. This is the product lifecycle. Notice the red line mapping out sales and the green line showing profits. They both move through 4 key stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. But a quick word of warning here. Managing this in the real world is incredibly tough. The duration of each stage is totally unpredictable, competitors are constantly reacting to your moves, and rapid technological changes can drastically alter this curve, literally shortening a product's life cycle overnight.
Let's translate that curve into some actionable data. Look closely at the reality of the introduction stage. Notice how those profits are literally negative. Sales are low, but the costs to launch, market, and build your distribution channels are astronomically high per customer. Your only buyers at this stage are the innovators. Now, as we move into growth and maturity, things get better. Costs drop and profits hit their peak. But as a future marketer, it's absolutely crucial you understand that the introduction stage is incredibly risky. You are essentially pouring money into a market that is just barely starting to recognize your product even exists.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, Launch Strategies.
Because the introduction stage is so perilous, the decisions you make right here are completely make or break. When you introduce a brand new product, you essentially have two main strategic levers you can pull: price and promotion. You can choose a higher-low price, and you can pair that with higher-low promotion, which creates 4 distinct launch strategies in this matrix. Setting a high price is what we call skimming, while setting a low price is called penetration. Whether you do either of these rapidly or slowly entirely depends on how much cash you're dropping on promotion. Let's break these down, starting with skimming.
So skimming strategies involve launching at a high price. The ultimate goal here is to recover as much profit per unit as possible. Rapid skimming pairs that high price with high promotion. You're using heavy, aggressive marketing to accelerate market penetration and convince a largely unaware market that your product is totally worth the premium price tag. This makes a ton of sense when customers are willing to pay, but you need to build brand preference extremely fast before competitors inevitably jump in. Slow skimming, on the other hand, pairs a high price with low promotion. You're keeping your marketing expenses low to absolutely maximize your gross profit. This strategy assumes the market already knows about the product, it's a somewhat limited market size, and there isn't a huge immediate threat of competition. You are quietly, profitably skimming the cream right off the top of the market.
Now contrast that entirely with penetration strategies. These use a very low price to capture massive market share as fast as possible. Rapid penetration launches with a low price but high promotion. Your goal is to grab a huge piece of the pie immediately. This works brilliantly when the market is massive, buyers are highly price sensitive, and there's a really strong potential for heavy competition. You're basically expanding the market by bringing in a huge volume of buyers, and your high promotional spend is educating an unaware public. Then there's slow penetration, which pairs a low price with low promotion. The low price encourages fast acceptance, while keeping your promotional costs down helps you actually realize more profit despite that cheap price tag. This is a great play when the market is huge, already aware of the product, very price sensitive, but maybe not easily swayed by flashy, expensive advertising campaigns.
Okay, time to step back into the role of the marketing director. Let's look at a specific scenario. Which launch strategy out of those 4 should you use if your target market is massive, completely unaware of your product's existence, and highly sensitive to price? Think about it for a second.
If you picked the rapid penetration strategy, you nailed it for sure. Because the market is price sensitive, you absolutely need a low price to secure them. But because they are entirely unaware of your product, you have to use high promotion to educate them. So, low price plus high promotion equals rapid penetration. Great job.
Now let's talk about the bold companies that brave this introduction stage first. We call them market pioneers. They are the absolute first to sell in a brand new product category. A really fun modern example of this is the hoverboard. Think back to when hoverboards first hit the scene. They had zero direct competition. They basically had to create the market from absolute scratch. And let me tell you, that is both an incredible, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and a massive, heavy burden.
Being the pioneer means you're facing a competitive cycle unlike anyone else. Your playbook dictates that you have to capitalize on that low initial competition, sure, but you also bear the incredibly high costs of educating the market and those skeptical early adopters. Your main goal here is to build and retain marketing leadership over time. Do you know what the biggest trap for a pioneer is? It's trying to make an immediate killing and sacrificing long-run revenue just for the sake of a short-run gain. If you don't carefully position yourself for the long term, I guarantee you, competitors will swoop right in, learn from all your expensive mistakes, and basically steal the market you just built.
Section 5. Summary. Let's consolidate everything we've learned today. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground. Here is your strategic playbook summary in a nutshell. First, always remember that your market offering can be anything from a durable car to a completely intangible software service, and that nature dictates how people will buy it. Second, the product life cycle, introduction, growth, maturity, decline, will heavily dictate your costs, your profits, and the competitive actions you have to take. Third, when you launch in that perilous introduction stage, you've got to choose a very deliberate strategy, skimming or penetration, by manipulating your price and promotion. And finally, if you are the market pioneer, you have to absorb the high costs of educating the market, all while keeping your eyes firmly fixed on long-term leadership.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Think about the smartphone or the laptop you are watching this explainer on right now. Considering the incredibly unpredictable nature of rapid technological advancements that we talked about earlier,
What specific innovation could emerge tomorrow that would instantly force your device out of its maturity stage and into an immediate, irreversible decline? And more importantly, how would a marketing manager even handle that? Keep that question in the back of your mind as you look at all the products around you today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep thinking strategically.